Hi, this is Wiz and welcome to part 2 of the Mercedes EQC experience. On the previous video, I showed you the exterior and the interior. You can go and check that video or I'll put the link somewhere. And now on this video, we're gonna drive it a bit. Let's get this done. So we are into the Mercedes EQC and we are now gonna drive it. As usual with Mercedes, you got the lever here where you command the drive, neutral, reverse and parking. So let's start. Obviously no sound, nothing. Let's go. I find it always very satisfying to start an EV vehicle because there's no sound, there's nothing. Of course, I still love the traditional combustion engine sounds, don't get me wrong. But if you never drove an electric vehicle, do it once. It is a different animal, but still very rewarding. And especially as we are gonna see it a little bit later, the acceleration is mental. Even if the figures are not that incredible, in the case of the EQC, the 0 to 100 is done in 5.1 seconds. The fact that the power comes instantly, it's something else. Something's to be experienced. What I can say right now, after doing a couple of meters with the EQC, is that it is extremely quiet. The cabin is very silent. You hear nothing from the outside. Contrary to a Tesla, where you hear a lot the rubber, the tires, here you hear nothing. Absolutely nothing. You got the two paddles shifter here, same as the e-tron. Those are not for shifting gears, there are no gears, but they are for the recuperation. So you go twice here. I'm not touching the brake, I'm on a downhill and the car is almost gonna stop. I don't know if it completely stops like a Tesla does. I don't think, because I keep going. I'm at 14 kilometers an hour. And then with the plus paddle shifter here, if I go once, it goes faster. And if I go twice, then it's not regenerating anymore. This is some things you need to get used to if you never drove an electric vehicle. But in Mercedes and...
Oui, s'il vous plaît. Que souhaitez-vous faire?
Rien. Jesus, I can't say the M word in this car. It triggers the Hey Mercedes command. Oh no.
Pardon?
Rien. Salut.
Que puis-je faire pour vous?
Rien. Oh, Jesus. I wonder if you can disable that. So same as Google at home, you cannot say Mercedes.
Que souhaitez-vous faire?
Oh.
Que souhaitez-vous faire?
Rien.
Que puis-je faire pour vous?
Arrête. Oh. Thank you. The computer says that I have a range of 351 kilometers. To be really honest with you, I don't know if the car was fully charged. I assume it was fully charged when I picked it up from Mercedes, but it says 351 kilometers. Let's see how it evolves. It is a very familiar environment into the cabin, typical Mercedes.
Oui, s'il vous plaît.
Oh no! Arrête! So we're entering now the freeway. We can have a first glimpse of the acceleration of this car. I'm at 30 kilometers an hour and now I floor it. Oh, oh, oh. Wow, 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 wow. It is quite impressive, quite impressive. I was expecting that. Again, I drove several times the Audi e-tron. I had a Tesla Model S for 7 months, so I'm supposed to know better, but still I'm impressed each time. Look at the ambient light. You have multiple color choices. The cabin is very futuristic. I like it. And I'm sorry to say that, but I prefer the interior of this Mercedes EQC rather than the one on the Audi e-tron. Let me know in the comment, what do you think? I like it because of me, that's personal. I like screens, and here I got 2 ginormous screens in front of me with all the informations I can dream of, and it is very well finished. Very good quality. The typical Mercedes buyers are gonna feel at home right away into the EQC. And whenever you need power, it's instant. Wow. Say what you want, but I like driving an electric car. It's a very satisfying experience. Still, I'm torn between combustion engine and electric car. If you are following me, especially on Instagram, with 1972, you may know that I just jump from combustion electric, not because I want to save the world. I mean, I'm glad I can help a little, but I like EV mostly for the way they drives, the way they behaves, with this instant acceleration that I love so much. Basically, on straight lines you can compete with almost whatever car around you. If you need to show that little boy racer with its M2 who's the boss on straight line, or maybe not an M2, let's say a 135i probably. But you can easily show who's the boss. Then when you go on curvy roads, it's another story. This car is very heavy. It's 2.4 tons because of the batteries. So don't expect any stellar behavior on curvy roads. The current range is 345 kilometers, which is quite realistic with the distance I've done since I started driving. Again, the car is extremely quiet. You hear nothing, almost nothing from the outside. And I like the fact that you can control the MBUX user interface by the little touchpad here on the steering wheel, so you don't get distracted by a touch screen where you have to watch it. Or you can also select the menus from the touchpad here on the center control. Contrary to Audi, where you are forced on the latest Audi to go to the touch screen. So you can really drive using the paddle shifter for energy recuperation, to slow the car. It works exactly the same way as the Audi e-tron. It can either goes automatically, or you can control it with a paddle shifter. Like now, if I release the brake, the car is gonna slow down by itself without me doing anything. So there's nobody behind me. We're gonna test the acceleration of the EQC. 5.1 seconds. So let's try now. Wow. Wow, just incredible. Given the size of this thing, the acceleration is mental. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, there's a M235i in front of me. First time I see one in the flesh. I remember being really harsh when I saw the first pictures of that car, saying that it looks like a Japanese car. No disrespect for Japanese, of course. But now that I see the M version in real, it's not that bad. Back on the freeway. And again, the acceleration is just wow, wow. The energy recuperation is set to automatic, so whenever I release the throttle, the car is gonna apply some brakes, or I can choose to do it with the paddle shifter on the steering wheel. But I believe that you can disable the automatic recuperation on the menus. You don't really feel the weight of this car. And it is the same with all electric vehicles. The power is plenty enough, 408 horsepower. Ooh, I just released the throttle and the car braked really heavy. It can be surprising at the beginning, you need to get used to that. At a certain point you learn to modulate the throttle. And you can drive it with one foot only. So we're gonna reach now a curvy road where we can have a better understanding about how the EQC reacts on those kind of roads. Whenever there's a turn, you really feel the weight of the car. And you should expect that, because batteries are very, very heavy. And the car in general is very, very heavy. So it's okay at normal speeds. I'm 80 kilometers an hour now. Again, need to be careful when you release the throttle, because the car is gonna brake quite heavily. But I believe this can be adjusted. Handling is okay, as long as you drive it respecting the speed limitations. What would you like? What would you do anyway with this kind of SUV? So you can really feel the limitations of this kind of vehicles when you drive on roads like this. But again, I guess when you buy this car, you don't buy it to drive like you were a rally driver. If you want that, then you need to consider a second car, a car for the weekend, being a Porsche 911 or something else. But obviously, these kind of cars are not meant to be driven in a harsh way, because you quickly feel the weight of the car. So I'm not really paying attention to the energy consumption. I'm driving like I'm testing a car. The range is now down to 316, which is consistent with the kilometers I've driven so far. I may be wrong, but I remember driving the e-tron where I was constantly worrying about the car sucking the energy. Here in the EQC, I feel like it is more realistic. And again, you can play with the paddle shifter. If you want to reduce the speed, then you press once or twice, and then you release with the plus paddle shifter. So you can really play between the throttle and the two paddle shifters in order to regen the battery, the energy. Like now there's a sharp turn right, and I'm gonna just press twice, and the car slows down maybe a bit too much, so I press the plus once. Here I press twice the minus because of the road bump, and I almost stopped. And now the automatic regen is back in action. I'm not touching the brake pedal. I may be wrong, but I find the regen to be stronger on the EQC than on the e-tron. I need to drive that car again. If you can charge at home, I would say that the range is not an issue. Of course, if you plan to do road trips with your car, you need to plan according to the charging stations. Some are fast, like the Unity one, 150 kilowatt, but some can be really slow. So I would say, as long as you keep this car for driving work, home, or go around, it's not an issue, provided you can charge it at home overnight. If you plan to go far to do road trips, then you better think twice. I'm not touching the brake. I'm almost okay. Now I have to brake. Some things I don't really like on the EV cars, but I think it is done by law, is that whenever you release the throttle and the regen comes in action, the brake lights applies. So I'm the type of driver that brakes only when it's necessary, and by constantly having the brake lights, like you are constantly having your foot on the brake, it's some things that I don't like. I didn't like when I owned the Tesla, I didn't like when I was driving the e-tron, and I don't like here, because for example now, let's say that I just release a bit the throttle, the brake light is gonna light on, and people is thinking that I'm braking all the time, and I hate actually people that are constantly braking with the foot constantly on the brake pedal. But it is what it is. I think that by law, when you reduce the speed by a certain amount, you need to tell the driver that is following you that you are reducing your speed, so he's not surprised and it doesn't bump into you. So we're gonna go back to the dealership. I'm having this car since 3 hours now, and it is time to bring it back. Again, thanks to Étoile Automobile, the local Mercedes dealership, for the trust they had in me to lend me this car. I hope I can have more Mercedes in the future. Let me know in the comments. Are you tired of Audi content? Would you like some Mercedes content? Let me know. I would love to make a comparison between the EQC and the e-tron in terms of silence into the cabin, but I think, having driven both, I think that the EQC is a little bit better in that regard. I didn't touch the brake up until now. Of course, you have all the driving assistance available in this car. The adaptive cruise control, the lane assist, the blind spot on the side mirror. I like this Mercedes EQC a lot. Would I buy it? If I were a Mercedes customer, I would strongly consider, and if I were attracted by EV, of course, I would stay within the brand and purchase this EQC because it's got everything a Mercedes driver wants in a Mercedes. The familiar...
Oui, s'il vous plaît.
Arrête!
Que souhaitez-vous faire?
Rien du tout. Rien du
Pardon?
tout. Stop. Oh, Jesus Christ. If you are a M customer and you wanna try the electric experience, then you can stay within the brand because the EQC feels everything a Mercedes customer wants in a car. It is a very familiar environment, very good build quality. It's not a Tesla. And also talking about the external look, it is a Mercedes. Let's see if he reacts in English because the system is set to French. Hey Mercedes!
Oui, s'il vous plaît.
Set temperature to low.
Actuellement, il fait ensoleillé à Toulon. La température est de 32 degrés.
Okay, I guess I need to speak French. Hey Mercedes,
Oui, s'il vous plaît.
mets la température sur 22.
Ok, j'aurai rechargé et climatisé la voiture d'ici 22 heures.
What? Those assistants are not yet where they should be. Or it's me speaking bad French, I don't know. So to summarize about my experience with the EQC, it's a very satisfying experience. You got a real Mercedes, you got...
Oui, s'il vous plaît. Que souhaitez-vous faire?
Stop! Stop! Arrête! Oh. You got a real M. You got a very capable electric vehicle with very good performances. Of course, don't expect some stellar handling on curvy roads, but this is the same for all kind of vehicles like this. But whenever you need power, you get power. So I would say I'm very impressed about this car. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If yes, please give me a follow and a thumb up. And don't forget to activate the notification bell so you won't miss a thing. Let's wait to get out of this tunnel. There you go. Again, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye. Just an update on the energy consumption. I have 317 kilometers left, which does match with the kilometers I've done for this test drive. So let's put the car on charge now. Oops. What is this? Okay, I'm supposed to know better. How stupid I am. It's the other one. This stays here, and actually it's this one. Oh. What an idiot. This is the one. There you go, it's now charging. And if we go again into the cabin, just have a look at the informations. There you go, we can see 86% charged already, and it will be fully charged at 10 later tonight. It is 5 o'clock p.m. I don't know the speed, so no, I do know. It's mentioned there is 4.3 kilowatt, which is quite low, consider that when I charge at home, I charge at 11 kilowatt, and here is charging at 4.4 now, which is really, really slow.